We are going to have another flood on the Truckee River. It is not if, it's when. Flood events on the Truckee River typically take place from November until early April, with the very worst time from late December in through February.
When we have, say, a huge snowpack and then we're able to get a warmer, wetter storm on top of that snowpack, that is what tends to lead to our river floods.
The main types of conditions that have caused flood events are atmospheric rivers.
Atmospheric rivers are basically a concentrated stream of water vapor. They're bringing energy from the tropics, tons of moisture, equivalent to multiple Mississippi rivers of volume.
When they encounter our mountainous terrain, such as the Sierra, that water is then forced up, it begins to condense into clouds, and it unleashes a lot of rain and snow in the region. Most atmospheric rivers are very beneficial. They actually bring us between 30 and 50% of our total annual precipitation. It's those really strong events, though, that can bring us our problems. Those strong events can produce copious amounts of rain and snow, and also bring us our flooding conditions as well.
The Truckee River has a history of flooding. There was floods in 1950 and 1955 that did considerable damage. The 1997 flood was a very historic and devastating event.
We were seeing copious amounts of rain high up into the mountains for multiple days. So it's a long duration event with heavy rain, sometimes over a foot of rain in the mountains.
There's many iconic pictures of people being stranded on roadways, airplanes actually having water all the way up to the door.
The airport, for example, definitely suffered from water being all over the tarmac. And that's an impact for commerce, for business.
It affected not only the downtown area and did damage there, but it really, really devastated the Sparks industrial area, as well as the area around the Grand Sierra Resort and the Reno industrial area. What is interesting about the 2017 flood is while they were preparing for the flood, the people I talked to said that they were actually afraid it was going to exceed what the 1997 flood was going to do, and it was really touch and go.
Think about the snow when it's drier, it's like a sponge. It can absorb water to a certain point. When you get the snowpack wet enough through a warm rain process, and the temperature also rises to the point that the snow begins to melt, you're now getting two contributing factors towards getting runoff within the snowpack.
If it would have been 2 degrees warmer, we could have had a repeat of 1997. It seems like every few years, we are sitting on the edge of our seats here, looking at atmospheric rivers and wondering if this is going to develop into another 1997 flood. Floods can't be prevented. They're going to happen. And what we want to do is try to mitigate some of these damages by building projects that lower the risk and the damages that it's caused by flooding. And that is what TRFMA, Truckee River Flood Management Authority, is all about. Reducing the risk of flooding, reducing the damages from flooding by building flood project elements such as levees, flood walls, terraces, and other flood features so that the flooding isn't as bad.
Our next step is getting to Vista Narrows. That's where the river kind of takes a little turn, but that's Vista Narrows. The river just narrows down right there, and that's where flooding starts. And so it backs up from there upstream.
We're actually widening the low terracing of the river and creating more capacity so the water level does not get as high and it won't flood as much.
People need to know that it can and it will happen.
You want to be prepared, and the only way you can be prepared is to know where you stand. Is where you live in a floodplain? where you work. How prone to flooding is that?
Have a to-go bag, because like that 97 flood, when we tell you to evacuate, we need you out of there in a few minutes.
I would recommend that people access our information by going to our website and looking at our resources, and if they have any questions, calling us up and asking us. We also have resources on how to plan and actions you can take to mitigate the flooding locally at your property. It's all a matter of information. Having information about a flood and what it can do to you puts you in a much, much better position. We want to do projects that cause the most flood protection for the least amount of money. The Truckee Meadows flood project is that, because of the $2 billion of damage that would occur if a 1997 flood occurred, and the relative low cost of the project itself. It will do good things for our region and protect us and protect our economy.
We're gonna have that high snow year followed by rain. We'll have that happen again, but if we can have a place for water to go and we're not putting businesses out or having water come into someone's home, it's a win-win for all of us.
So it's important to always be vigilant and remember that a flood can occur. It's probably going to occur. And when it does, we want to have a flood project that alleviates most of these damages that flooding will do. And if we don't have it, we're going to kick ourselves. And if we do have it, we're going to be very happy we did.